In Python, there is what we call nested class or an inner class. Remember, we learned nested if conditions, nested loops, nested functions. You can even have nested classes or what we call inner classes. Specifically, you have a class and you put inside it a class. But why doing so? One reason is to try to do some weakly hiding for a class from outsiders. But remember that this isn't the culture in Python. That's why, generally speaking, we don't do nested classes in our life. Sometimes you would like to group two relevant things together. Makes sense sometimes. So here's an example of it. I have a class that is named the car, which has an init method and representation. Inside it, there is another class named the engine, which has init and representation method. And the init method receiving a name and model. And observe here we have one variable, one attribute that is actually creating an engine object from here. So now when you define a car and pass two objects and you try to print it, I'm here creating this object here from a class that is inside me, not outside me. And I'm here printing the name and then printing the engine. Observe here for educational purposes. In printing the engine here, I was trying to print the class name. There are two ways to do that. The right way is you can write something like self dot underscore underscore class underscore underscore dot name. So this one will bring you the class name. There is another way. If you wrote the type of the self itself, then dot name would also bring you. So the purpose of that to realize that there is a class and there is a name attributes that are available for you. Can outsiders access the engine object here, class here? Yes, you can come here and say engine equal car.engine, and that's all. By the way, also for educational purposes, you can add attributes on the fly using the set attribute method. Something like you can call set attribute, give it an object, give it an attribute, give it a value. Now you can say something like engine.release equal blah blah blah. You can even from the beginning write engine.release equal something. But we have this set attribute and get attribute methods that allow you to create something. This might be good if you would like to, if you just have you have the name and would like to create it on the fly this way. So it's sometimes useful. So in similar way, there is also the get attribute. So this is all about the inner classes. You define a class inside the class, you create an object you can create from outside, and a few educational lessons about the class, about the name, about the set attribute and get attribute. That's all.